Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast. I'm your host, Ril Gerald Quinn. On this Wednesday, January 26, 2022. So much going on the work front. I actually forgot that it was the 2-year anniversary, of course, the tragic passing of the one Kobe Bryant. So definitely thought about that on the way home. But we're here to talk NFL football in terms of what was a legendary divisional playoff weekend with one Rob Sapp. How you doing, Mr. Sapp?
Oh, I'm doing well. Glad to be here with you talking football.
Yeah, we just a wild, and I mean just wild divisional playoff weekend, and we're gonna, as always, with the program, we're gonna begin with who won the week, and San Francisco is a very close second, but when you've made it to now 4 straight AFC championships, on the cusp, on the verge of three straight Super Bowl appearances, and coming off and on the right side of one of the great playoff games of all time, I think that more than qualifies as winning the week. I had to go with the Chiefs with this one. Um, and I'm not sure. I know Mr. Sapp has plenty
Yeah.
of thoughts on this legendary
Well, you
game.
would think so. I have plenty of emotions. Thoughts, not as many.
Okay, emotions.
All the emotions. All of them.
Um,
All the emotions. But I do have thoughts. I do have thoughts. I
so so yeah, I'll go first. This was a, this was kind, this was, this was Ali Frazier. This was a heavyweight battle of, to me, the two best teams in football remaining. And I said this to Rob during the game. I think before the game, or texting him before the game. I thought that the winner of this game is going to win the Super Bowl. I think that, and I feel even stronger about that
Nothing
statement.
that happens proved you wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure I might get proved wrong in this NFL season. I'm sure I
It might be, but I'm just saying nothing that happened. Like everything in that game versus
yeah,
everything
no,
else I said, I would feel as confident about that statement
yes.
as when you made it.
Um, this game was played at such a level that it was like, what, even the slightest mistake would tilt
Yeah.
the game, in the favor of the other team. And again, there were some mistakes made, and I'm sure Mr. Sapp will point them out. But as far as a game in terms of high level, no turnovers, um, all world quarterback play, you're not going to see too many games better than this one. You're talking about a situation where you had both quarterbacks go over 300 yards, no interceptions, three or more touchdowns, and 60 yards rushing between them. Um, talking about and as far as Kansas City goes, and one of the reasons why I think they won the week is because this is not the Kansas City team we saw for the better part of the year. Kansas City had drives of 12 plays, 86 yards, 11 plays, 74 yards, 13 plays, 54 yards. Why that's important? Because they show patience. Some Kansas City did not have over the course of this season and even previous seasons, because they didn't have to be patient. Because when you have a one strike, a offense that can strike at any time from anywhere, they didn't have to be patient up until teams said, okay, we'll do the two high safeties and force you to go down the field in 11, 12 plays and see how you like it. And from the beginning of the year, they didn't like it very much because they were turning over the ball left and right. So you saw their complete evolution in terms of being patient, not making the big mistake, and being content with going down the field. Not content, but at least being effective at going down the field, um, and going down the field, and not, without getting those 30, 40 yard chunk plays. Again, this is something that just wasn't happening in the first. I would say, even when they started winning games, the offense wasn't playing well. They were winning games because of their defense. Um, it kind of came. I guess I want to say it came together offensively, probably in that Vegas game on Monday night. You started seeing some things. Mahomes had like a 400-yard game, 3 or 4 touchdowns. Maybe he might even have 5 touchdowns. I think he had at least 4. And things started coming about. You started seeing something like, okay, this is what we're used to, have been used to for the last 3 years. And then of course last week, and I think I actually think that of course you'd rather have the bye, but I actually think Kansas City, it actually helped them to play a game last week to kind of get their feet. I like them much better playing a game last week, getting their feet wet and having feeling good about themselves versus coming in cold against Buffalo. To be honest with you,
Real quick, I just want to
hold
jump
on,
into that one.
go
It's
ahead.
just on that point right there, not getting to my analysis. I think if any year there, if there's any year that says, you know what, having that week off wasn't the greatest thing, it's this year because both number 1 seeds lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, no question about it. No question about it. And I think last week you saw against Pittsburgh again. That was Kansas City that was a Kansas City team offensively that it's like, okay, this team is, and Pittsburgh's a very good defense, and it held on for like a half, but I think that game helped them out a lot coming into this game because they were in the rhythm, and they looked like they were in the rhythm. They had no choice but to be in that offensive rhythm
Mm-hmm.
to even stand up against the Bills. Um, Again, this game had everything that you would want in the game. You're talking about 34 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. You're talking about lead big play after big play. Um, it was a pleasure as a football fan to watch this game. And a lot of these times a lot of these games we hype up and they frankly just don't live up to the
Yes.
billing. They don't. This one actually exceeded this one actually exceeded my expectations. I thought it'd be a very good game. Thought it'd be a closely contested game. I had no idea that this would be one of the great playoff games of all time. I was not thinking going into like, you know what? I think this has the potential to be a all-time classic. I did not think that. I said this would be a very good game. This will be a 4-quarter game, a play here, play there, and we'll see what happens. I just not this type of game, the way it broke, the way it came about, the way it broke out. I was not predicting. I couldn't predict this. Just to be honest, I'll be totally honest with you. But we are here now with these two teams. They are 5 meetings in the last 2 years, back-to-back playoff meetings. It is now officially, if it wasn't before, it is officially a big time rivalry. Mr. Sapp, take it away.
Okay, so my thoughts will not be in linear, my comments will not be in linear order, so I apologize in advance for that. I'm going to hit that last point that you said first. Well, no, here's what I want to say first. I cannot analyze this game in any traditional sense. This game was more closely to a spiritual experience for me than a game. And that's as the only thing that I can say. The one statistic that I probably will say, because it just amazed me, because I just didn't comprehend it in the moment, was there were 4 lead changes in the last 2 minutes. That's insane. This is the one rare game where the statistics back up how insane this game felt watching it. I was on the phone with my brother for a large portions of the game, and the first thing I said to him was look at Mahomes' face. Mahomes had the game 6 locked in, Jordan face, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, whoever you want to name. I was watching that man's face, and I said, and everybody's just gonna have to pardon my language on this one, but this is what I said to my brother. I was like, oh, I didn't realize Patrick Mahomes doesn't fuck with us like that. And what I mean by that is I knew from the Bills side that we wanted the Chiefs to be a rivalry. I knew that we wanted them and we wanted to get to that. I knew all of that. But we're the little brother in this instance. Of course we want that. Of course. I didn't realize how much Mahomes does not want to give up that top spot, like at all, and is not playing any type of games, and how much he does actually hear the volume, even though I don't believe it. I think Mahomes is one and Allen's two, if we're just talking about those two quarterbacks, but how much and intense that dialogue impacts Mahomes. And I was actually listening to something a little bit before the game that actually made my blood run a little cold. A person was analyzing the game, and he said, I'm picking the Chiefs, and this is the reason why. And he was like, it's not because I think the Bills are a bad team, aren't a great team, but it's because I think they will force Mahomes into another level. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's scary. And then when I was talking to my brother, I saw that face. I was like, and he was trying to like calm me down. I was just like, no, look at his face. I was like, I think he has another gear. That's terrifying. I was like, I think he has another gear. And he was locked in the entire game. Like, it was a battle because it was a battle. We wanted that game. We wanted that game more than anything. And I can tell you that because everybody is in straight despair right now. And they took all of that on and handled that. Mahomes took all that on and handled that. And as you said, like, I knew we would get at least 2 turnovers. I knew it. There was no thought in my mind we weren't going to get 2 of those. And he didn't turn that ball over once. And not only that, I was watching the game. I was like, they're not making a mistake. They're not making a mistake. I was like, damn it. They're not making a mistake. And like it's not like we were trying everything. And they were not making a mistake. And so to watch 2 teams just match each other like that was special. The other thing I said to my brother as that first half ended, I was like, the first half, those were all jabs and a couple body blows. The haymakers are coming. The right and left hooks are coming. And boy, did they in that second half. You could see it. You could see that. I mean, like, of course, from my side, like, I could really, really break down. But the point, you could see them testing each other the first half. And what that says is you have supreme confidence in your game plan because you're looking for the weaknesses to exploit. And both teams just did that. And then both quarterbacks just went nuclear. They just went to a next level. That last 2 minutes are very hazy for me. I think I blacked out, to be honest with you. The other thing that I'll say is that with both Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, like you said, a big fear of mine going to that game was that it was so much hype that it wouldn't live up to it. Almost every time, we could compile a list of 10 easily. When you get 2 great quarterbacks, it never lives up to it. It never lives up to it. And to watch this thing go and to watch them throw haymaker after haymaker at each other was, again, pretty special. There were 2 things that my football sense said going into this wild card weekend, but I just couldn't call it because I needed to see it happen first. One was the Rams Green Bay. We'll get into that. And the other was this game felt like a shootout. It felt like a shootout, but I couldn't call it because I just wasn't going to speak on this game like that. And B, I wanted to give the defense my defense the recognition, but here's what I did know. That in order for a game to be, and you spoke on this a little bit, in order for a game to be great, part of that is when you have 2 great teams, they're going to force you into errors. So the game will not look perfect because you have teams compete at a high level, and the entire job is to make the other side of the ball look stupid. That's the entire job. So there were going to be points in this game, and I felt that, regardless of how the defenses are playing, because the offenses are too good. And so when that dam broke, it was just like, oh, it's on. It is on. And I didn't know it was going to get on to the point that it did. The final thing that I would say, I will address the 13 seconds. I will address that. And the way that I address that is this. After the game, I was listening to various different podcasts and lots of different emotions. Everybody's all over the place. Like I said, all the emotions. I have all the emotions. But I heard somebody go, a younger generation, man, this again makes me feel old, but it is what it is. One of them was like, barely remembers, or was 4 years old when Super Bowl 25. So that was a twinkle in his eyes. Doesn't even remember that pain. Was still a kid when Music City Miracle happened. And he was like, and then this is what he's hearing people say third. And I thought about those first two. I very much remember 25. Very much remember 25. But I was still a kid as well. And so the Music City Miracle is the one that literally makes me want to throw up every time I even think about it. I've never seen that play again. I will not watch that play again. You can't watch that play again. No, you can't. My point is, I don't feel the same way about this game. I really analyzed. I was like, can I watch it? Will I? I want to watch this game again. I do. And I want to see the high level play. It took me decades before I was able to watch Super Bowl 25, and I could never watch that game again. But I can at least appreciate. I finally was able to appreciate
the best game I've ever seen. By the way,
but we're not doing that. but so my point is, with this game, and this is probably because I'm a little bit older and can take sports defeats in different types of ways, but this game doesn't qualify in the pain meter like those other two. And that's why I can address these 13 seconds so well, because I can absolve my team completely. I was partying. Like, I was in full party mode. I didn't even conceptualize that they could get. It wasn't a thought, a idea, not anything in my mind. So I can absolve my team for relaxing a little bit. And so then the lesson becomes, because honestly, I think about this all season. I think about all those different things. There's nothing separating us from the Chiefs, honestly. There's not, I mean, there'd be tweaks and all these different things, but there's nothing I'm like, oh, we need this to be able to then do everything like that. What the lesson was learned was that in these games against these teams at this high level, you cannot relax into zeros. You can't. Doesn't matter. But coach, there's only 8 sets, doesn't matter. There's only 10, doesn't matter. There's only 2 sets, doesn't matter. Only when those clocks zero, that's when you can celebrate. Josh Allen's coming up to the side, everybody high five, everything. We were all partying. We all partying.
Yep.
We all partying. No matter whatever. Nope. Nobody was thinking about what type of kick. Now that game was over, and we all knew it, and that was the mistake. And we learn, and we have to learn that lesson. It's part of it. It's part of the process. It really is part of the championship process. This shit does not come easy. It doesn't. And so we either learn that lesson or we don't. It's that simple. Because we prove, it is proved, I mean, we prove, we're equal to the Chiefs. We're equal. And it's who plays better that day. But the big lesson is you can't relax.
Well, no, here's another thing, too. You are equal to the Chiefs, but you would like the game to be in Buffalo next year.
Sure.
So that should be the goal as well.
That's a deeper analysis. That's a much deeper analysis. I can't let it just lie at that. Whenever we talk about the off season and our teams, I can break all of that down. But this ain't the time for that.
So let me take you to the third quarter. 17-14 Chiefs. 4th and 1 on your own 34. Did you think that he would go for it?
You talking about who?
McDermott.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I was kind of a little surprised that he punted.
We were never going to punt that ball. until we got a lead. That's
No,
why
no, he
down.
punted it though. I'm saying he punted.
No, until we got a lead. That's why he went for a fourth down that first drive. That was the position the team was taking. That was one of our goals towards that game. Was we felt like it was very important to be aggressive to maintain the lead. Now, were some of those? That's a beef that I have with McDermott in general, but I knew when we were going to go for it and when we weren't going to go for it, and it all depended upon where we were in the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So it didn't surprise me, is my point. They had been in the Buffalo news cycle and all that. They had been trumpeting that the entire week.
Yeah. I mean, because Kansas City got the ball back, went down the field, and went up 23-14. Again, I'm not going too crazy on it because you at your own 34-yard line, only on 34-yard line. There's still a lot of time left in the game, but I was kind of a little bit surprised that he didn't go for it, considering how considering how the game was going. But again, I think to your point earlier, the game was such a situation where I as aggressive as he is, I still think he probably was fearful of making a mistake in going forward and them not getting in, giving Patrick Mahomes, a extremely short field. So I think that was how, that was how high level this game was played. That
Here's
even take some of the aggression out of a normally aggressive coach.
Here's the central problem. With McDermott, I'm just going to speak for McDermott. In this arena, he's a defensive minded coach.
Yep.
This year, last year to some extent, but this year, the trend, the analytics, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I mean, it's been building over the years. Is to go for it, be way more aggressive on fourth down. He's an old school defensive coach. He's just not comfortable with it. And so that's why he will attack when it is to get the lead, but he's not going to attack to get closer, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if it is to go up 7-0, yeah, we're going for a fourth down to get the 7-0 lead, or to go from 7 to 14. Go 14-7. Yep, he'll do that. But at that point, that would have only got us 21-23, right? Or 21-24.
No. At that point, you were down 17-14.
Where were we on the field?
No, you were down 17-14.
This was the second drive come out of the third quarter?
This is the third quarter. It was 4th and 1 at your own 34-yard line. You're down.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yep. Side of the field. No. 50. Yep. We had to be at the 50.
Yep.
I think they were flirting with 45 at one point, 40 or 45 at one point, but the last thing I heard was 50. 50 and closer.
Gotcha.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, not the 34. Sorry, I misunderstood the drive.
So, football is a very cruel sport. It can be, especially in postseason play. Josh Allen for the postseason, 9 touchdowns, no picks, 77 completion percentage, 70% of his passes, quarterback rating of 149, and doesn't even have a conference championship to show for it, appearance to show for it. It is a very cruel sport. Like it takes, to win a playoff game, it's just it's hard.
Road playoff game at that.
A road playoff game at that. Yeah, I was wondering how you would feel.
Which is why if you're the best team and you are at home, there is no excuse for losing.
Yeah, we'll
yeah, I know we'll get there.
It
is hard to win a playoff game on the road.
Yes,
it is hard.
Yes. So yes, those home playoff games are like gold and should be treated like gold. I get to see, this feels like something that could be the start of something big with Buffalo. You have the quarterback, of course. It's just a matter, how just getting those, those pieces, drafting, all that good stuff. But this is the team. Kansas City is not going anywhere anytime soon. This is you know who you need to like you know who you have to go through to get to where you want to be. So we'll see. See what happens. I look forward to every Buffalo Kansas City game because I feel like these games are just going to be just these two are going to be going at it for the next decade. Hopefully with good health and excellent coaching. This is going to be has a chance to be football's best rivalry. We don't have a great rivalry right now in the NFL, and this one kind of has a chance to fill that void, in my opinion. I had anything more on Kansas City? No, I mean Kansas City again. Kansas City came full circle in terms of their season. So you gotta give Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes all the credit in the world, Spagnola all the credit in the world for turning their season around. We've seen a lot of teams have those years where it's just not your year, and I really thought through week 7 through week 8 that it wasn't going to be Kansas City's year. Maybe not even to make the playoffs, let alone be the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now, which they are and they should be. But and also, yeah, one last thing: don't sneeze at going to 4 straight AFC championships. Like that level of consistency, be the first team to host 4 conference championships in a row. That is big time. I mean, that's next level consistency. It is hard to win in the NFL at a high level year in and year out. Mahomes 8-2 in the playoffs, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's the highest rated quarterback of all time in the playoffs. So he's gotten off to a historic start from that standpoint. And if he gets another Super Bowl that way, you can take him to a ridiculous level, considering how hard it is to get that second one. Go ask someone in Green Bay that we'll talk about. That we're going to talk about. So, don't what they're doing right now is pretty special. It really is. 4 straight AFC Championship appearances. What's up? You got to say something?
No, keep going. Sorry.
Oh. All right, we get on to a number of other division nail biters. This was a wild game, boy. This LA Tampa Bay game. This is a game that should have probably been over in the first half. The Rams were clearly physically the better team, and and then just listen, no one can blame Stafford for this. It was not Stafford's fault for this. Stafford played a clean game, made all the plays that he had to make, the big plays, of course, down the stretch of the game. But again, the Rams in this game just was like, Tampa Bay, we don't want you to go away. Don't just come on. No, come on. I know we're up 20-3, but you know what? We need this to be close. Come on now. You saw what happened in Cincinnati. You saw what happened in Cincinnati and Green Bay. We need this game to be close. That's what it felt like with the Rams, with the 4 turnovers, putting the ball on the ground. I had a major problem with McVay, who, by the way, I thought called a very good game for the most part in terms of the play calling. We talked last week about would he be patient with the run? He absolutely was. 30 rushes, only 73 yards, but still the 30 rushes were the key. The problem is he was patient with the wrong running back. As soon as Cam Akers has that first fumble in the first half, he's done. He's done. I'm sorry. This is too big of a game for me to allow you to get your confidence back when you haven't played all season. You just got back. I'm sorry. I'm Sony Michel, you're up. Like, I can't, like those fumbles, those 2 fumbles. I mean, the first one, again, the game would have been over at worst 23. It should have been 23-3, maybe 27-3, and at the end of the first half. And then the second one, where that led to Brady and them tying the game was just, that one. I was like, no, he shouldn't have been in the game. Once a running, it's like that fumbling gets in somebody's head. That's really, it becomes psychological. I watched Tiki Barber in a game fumble 5 times and run for like 180 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns in a wild game back in the day when the Giants were trying to make the playoffs against the Eagles. So it becomes psychological. That first fumble, chances are a second one is coming, and especially with a young player who hasn't got a lot of reps, and he had not to me. To me, you got to pull him. I'm sorry, Cam Akers is not Derrick Henry. He's not Alvin Kamara. You can pull him and just pump him. If you're gonna pump him up with confidence, do it during the week. I can't. I'm not doing it in a playoff game that almost cost you your season. So I had a problem with that, and Tampa Bay. I don't again made the comeback. But I don't understand how you blitz on the last play with Cooper Kupp and leave your safety to try to cover the best receiver in the world this year. I don't, and I'm a Todd Bowles fan. I hope Todd Bowles gets a job. He deserves to get a job. But that one, you can't blitz on that play. You just can't blitz on that play unless you know for sure you're going to get to Matthew Stafford. And Stafford does not hold the ball. Stafford does have a relatively quick release and does not hold the ball. And as soon as that ball let go, I was like, this is going to be a catch. There's nobody back there who can run with Cooper Kupp. So the Rams did what they had to do. Tampa Bay couldn't block them to save their life. That was the defensive line that you envisioned when you picked the Rams to win it when they made their acquisitions. Miller and Beckham have been great the last 6 weeks. Von Miller looks like, vintage Von Miller, the way he's played the last 3 or 4 weeks. And that defensive line is just, it's not fair, especially with no Tristan Wirfs from Tampa Bay. Their offensive line, Tampa Bay's offensive line had no chance in that game. None whatsoever. So Tampa Bay the Rams did what they had to do. They were the better team on paper. They were the better team. And again, if I told you that Stafford was going to play the way he played, I would have told you that they were going to win going away. I thought for them to stay in that game, Stafford would make some mistakes. He did not. So that just shows you how crazy that game was with some of with the turnovers. But the better team won that game. That's the bottom line. The better team won the game, and they will of course advance to take on San Francisco. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, This is the game that I was referring to. The other thing that I wanted to call, I felt in my NFL watching instincts was that the Rams were better. So this game actually is all about what the Rams did and what the Rams did not do. More than Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay, too many injuries at a time when they couldn't. Too many injuries and people walking off the field. At times they couldn't sustain the offensive line. Weakened by that, receiving core depleted, more reliance on older players, yada yada yada, all the things, hungry team, ready to win now. All that spelled disaster and doom for Tampa Bay. I felt that in my bones, but you can't call that against Tom Brady. You just got to see it. You just got to see it. Then you can call it in the future, but I wasn't stepping out on that lane. But now that I've seen it, the Rams by far the superior team. Like that was obvious. What I want to talk about was my favorite sequences of this game. Cooper Kupp fumbles the ball. And then after the Akers fumble, Von Miller just basically says, you know what? Y'all trying to give this game away. We're done. We're done with it. And he just grabs Tom Brady, says, give me that ball. Yeah. I mean, literally, he grabs him. Me and my brother analyzed that play over again. It's one of my favorite plays because, like, I'm watching it happen real time. Like, I'm looking, I'm saying, oh, Von Miller's going to strip that ball. And then, so he comes by, it goes over, and then he strips it. But he doesn't, like, do this, like, peanut tip and just punch it so it could just go crazy. He just lightly bats it down so that he can grab it and take it. That's what I mean. He literally was like, nope, I got this. Give me this ball and everything like that. And then in the immediate next play, that's when the snapper.
Yeah, the 30-yard snap. Yeah.
I was just like, yo, what is happening? I might have the secret. Maybe there was a fumble, maybe it was a cup fumble in that, and then the snap, and then the fumble. I can't remember that sequence, but I do know it was fumble. He grabbed that ball back, and then immediately they snapped it 30 yards out of nowhere. It was just like, yo, offense, get your heads together. What is going on with y'all? And you're absolutely right. This does not lay on the head of the Matthew Stafford specifically as part of the experience of his offenses, but this was not on him specifically. I don't know what was going on. I have to watch that game again. I watched it twice. I got to watch it a third time, specifically just see what was happening on that sideline. But it was going to be a meltdown. But at the end of the day, and this is also the big message that any young playoff team, Cincinnati, needs to be thinking about this. At the end of the day, nothing matters other than winning that game.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing matters.
And by the way, I give them credit. I give them credit for driving the ball right down the field after the game being tied and going and kicking the field goal. They deserve credit for that because I've seen teams fold.
Boy, did they try to get that game away.
Yeah, they tried.
They had their lives together. They did.
I give him credit. Cooper Kupp made 2 catches. Hey, I'm the best receiver. Give me the ball. Get out the way. And that's what I like. He was some of them. You can't cover this dude. You cannot cover this dude. When he gets open by like 10 yards. It's ridiculous how good this dude is, man. He gets open by you had to be like Jay Cutler to overthrow him, or somebody just one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks ever to overthrow him. It is unreal how open he gets. Like I was like, what? Like, how do you cover that? You don't. That's the thing about it. You don't, which is why you don't blitz and leave. I know what do you think Antonio Winfield Jr. was thinking when we had no back, when he had no help, and Cooper Kupp is running down the middle. I'm like, help! Where's my help? What are you thinking as a safety? If you got that dude running like 100 miles towards you, or I should say past you, in that situation. The right team won. The right team, the better team won. They were clearly the better team. Physically, they clearly were like the superior team. It was almost too easy in the first half. I was like, yo, this is like, damn, this is, ooh. But Brady.
It took a complete meltdown by the offense.
It was ridiculous. The defense was like, yo, how many turnovers do we got to get? How many sacks? Like we're doing we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. What are you doing? Just score. Or don't turn over the ball. You don't even have to score. Just don't turn over the ball.
When the offensive lineman snapped the ball for no reason.
Yeah, that was
Defense was fine. They were like, whatever. Y'all got one because y'all just doing crazy stuff now.
Yeah, no, that was wild. Before we get to the Green Bay game, Cincinnati, Tennessee. Now, this was the one that that had a bad feeling for Tennessee about, to be honest with you. All week coming into the game, I was scared. I was afraid to pick it because I picked Cincinnati. I picked Tennessee, but I did not have a good feeling for Tennessee coming into this game. And you look at this game, and when you're speaking of a pissed off defense, when your defense sacks the other quarterback 9 times and you're at home, you're kind of supposed to win that game. I've never seen. I gained more respect out of Joe. I already respected Joe Burrow a lot as is, but I gained probably more respect out of Joe Burrow in this game than any game that he's ever played in his short career. He took a beating. I mean, a beating. That doesn't even include the hits and the knockdown, stuff like that, and the pressures. For him to perform at that level, taking that beat, I've never seen a quarterback take a beating like that and perform at that level. And the numbers, I mean, the aggregate, he didn't have no touchdowns or 1 interception, but that doesn't even tell. You can just not even pay attention to that. The interception was an incredible interception, by the way. But he was in total command of that game. He was clearly the best player on the field in that game. And he gave Tennessee a reality check in that, hey, Tennessee, we know you got a decent quarterback, but here's what a franchise culture changing quarterback looks like.
There's another level.
And you don't, and there are levels of this, and you don't have that. I thought that Foreman should have got more carries. I know that we both love Derrick Henry, but Foreman could have ran for, I don't know, God knows how many yards in that game. It felt like they just couldn't tackle him. He only got ended up only getting 6 carries, and he had 60 yards, 64 yards. Had the big 45-yard carry. That dude, It might not be on Tennessee, or it might be depending on how long Derrick Henry has left. But that dude, he is a starting running back. Period, without question. But listen, Tennessee is a team that we talked about all year long. Vrabel did an excellent job to get that team to the point to where they were at. But that team was doing it with smoke and mirrors for the most part. And when you get to a certain level and you get to the playoffs, smoke and mirrors is not going to get you to that next level. It's just not. And there's a ceiling for that team. There's no two ways about it. I will ask you a question about them connecting with them later on in the podcast. But listen, give Cincinnati a lot of credit. Give the kicker, Money Mac. That's a big time kick on the road. 2 big time kicks. That 54-yarder was ridiculous. I think that was at the end of the half. I think he made that, but in the middle of the game. But that was on the road. That was just an insane kick. And Cincinnati is the team that out of these 4, they've jumped ahead in line. And to go on the road as a young team is something that you don't see. That's just something that is very rare. I've seen Brett Favre get his ass kicked in these games on the road before they broke through and eventually got to a Super Bowl. This just doesn't happen often especially with a young quarterback. A second, this is Burrow's second year quarterback at that. He played phenomenal. He was phenomenal in that game. And you look at, and we're going to talk about this next team coming up. They have gone out their way to develop other weapons. You cannot just zero in on Jamar Chase. They have Higgins. They got Boyd. The tight end is very good. Mixon can catch passes out the backfield. So give their coach a lot of credit from that standpoint of having them develop other weapons. But I'll say this one thing: you got to protect the quarterback. Like you can't have he's got to do not only for this game coming up, but just for the long term in general. You can't. This has Andrew Luck written all over it if it keeps going this way. He was sacked 51 times this year. That is A1 priority number 1, regardless of what happens in this postseason, because he's like that guy on the field is as good as it gets as a young talent. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you named it. It was an awe-inspiring performance by Joe Burrow. And that quite simply is the difference in this game. I don't like simplifying things down to the quarterback.
No, it was just that simple. No, it was that simple.
It is just that simple. There are very few humans alive that could survive that onslaught and won that game. That was very, very impressive to see. Everything you said is accurate. That can only happen one time, so that can't happen again. Otherwise, your quarterback won't be around long enough for any of us to appreciate him. But in this specific game, that was special. That was just special to watch. And then on the Tennessee side, it's exactly like you took the words right out of my head. They've maxed out. This is as far as this franchise can go without that guy at quarterback. They got the number 1 seed at home. The least impressive team in the AFC coming to their home in the divisional round, and they couldn't get it done under those circumstances. And the clear difference was the play of the court. It was just the clear difference. It's the clear difference. And like you said, working smoke and magic this year, absolutely. And then I would probably add on that a little smoke magic with Ryan Tannehill. Well, we're all skeptical for a reason.
Yes.
We're all skeptical for a reason. We're like, yeah, we see it, but we see those numbers on the paper, but I'm watching, and it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to a great quarterback. It just doesn't. It doesn't add up to a Super Bowl winning quarterback. It just doesn't. And so I think a lot praise goes to that coaching staff, but they've reached their limit, and so they should have Aaron Rodgers on speed dial if they don't already. To look, having, because it's clear, it's very clear. You are your superior quarterback play away from the Super Bowl. That's what you need. It's just that simple. That's what you need. Burrow's special, and your guy was not. You lose.
And those three interceptions were bad. Those are bad. All those were bad interceptions.
It could not have been more clear. It just could not have been more clear what the difference was.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. The game was in his hands, threw it away, or couldn't prove that he could win it. And then you saw at the end of the game, they were like, nah, we're going to take our bets with Derrick Henry now. Tannehill, you've proven you're not up to this task right now. You've shown us we're good. How about Derrick Henry? Try to bring it home for us. And Bengals defense was like, nope, that's also the other underplayed thing here. The Bengals defense played fantastic.
No, the Bengals. Let me say something. In this, we do like. You look. The Bengals have better players.
Like the Bengals, person, but the Bengals defense played fantastic.
No, the Bengals defense is for real. The Bengals had better players. They were a better looking team than just like the Rams were better than the hobbled, banged up Tampa Bay team. The Bengals have better players than Tennessee. Period. Not just only at quarterback, but at all the positions. Just about.
The thing you respect is Tennessee's coaching and
culture,
their defensive philosophy. Yeah.
Yep.
The Rams are a little rough. The Bengals are a little rough around the edges defensively right now.
But they have better players.
No, the talent is off the charts.
That's what I'm saying. They have better players. That's
why you know Cincinnati is coming in the biggest of biggest ways. Like they have fantastic talent everywhere.
Yes. All across the board.
That was the biggest thing, going back to that Buffalo game real quick. That was the biggest thing at the very end. As a position, as a fan, you hate to be in, but I was just hoping and praying, because I knew we didn't have that guy on the defense that could just make a play. We're very scheme heavy, and we do a great job scheme wise. I'm saying this. I'm doing this to say this about Tennessee. Their scheme is immaculate, and they get maximum out of their players. But when you need that, when everything is going wrong, this goes on the quarterback. But then on defensive side, when everything is just falling against you, you need that one guy who just make a play, who you can pin your hope on. Okay, he can do it. Will it happen every time? Absolutely not. But it's just like that game of shot. Kobe, he's going to take the shot.
Yep.
We might not win it, but he's the one who's going to make that play. Just that simple. He will make that play. No matter what's going on, he can make that play. And when you don't have that guy, it's just a hopeless feeling. You're just like, oh, man, please, God, help us. But you're like, no, God is not helping the football team. So it's just hopeless. And so in Tennessee, on kind of like the glaring difference was exactly what you're illuminating. The Bengals have those Willies and Joes. In Tennessee, in a very, outside of Henry, of course, and A.J. Brown, they are very scheme and coaching heavy, and just not that player, particularly quarterback and on the defensive side, that could just make that play when they need it.
No.
Cincinnati those in abundance.
Yes.
Boy,
a plethora of them.
They are here to stay for a while.
The most shocking result, I think, clearly of the weekend. I'm watching this game, and I'm watching it unfold. Of course, Green Bay, San Francisco wins 13-10. Big time kick out of Robbie Gould in freezing weather, but what do you expect? He's made like 20 straight postseason kicks. He's from
Chicago. Come on.
And he's from Chicago. Yes, he knows how to kick in cold weather. Yeah, this game I did a rewatch on this game today, and it's even worse than I actually thought it was. It's just far as, especially for Aaron Rodgers.
Not a good showing.
To to be able to score to only listen give credit to the San Francisco 49ers. Right now they had the best defense in remaining in the playoffs. Their defense is hot right now, playing
Lights
off
out.
the charts. Off the charts. Their defense. Fred Warner has been just all over the place. Bosa is an animal. We know this. We know they have players on defense. So and the secondary is under. Their secondary has performed well. Scheme, everything. Their defense has been spectacular. With that being said,
The healthy bodies in that secondary. That's what they needed.
yeah,
More
no,
than
yeah,
anything.
but the scheme, yes, the scheme, but you
Because
know,
I mean,
the scheme has made up for those
back
bodies.
end was never an
No,
issue with healthy.
yes, when healthy, right? Yeah, no, but that's why I'm
They
more
lost
impressed with
all of
their.
them. Yeah, that'll hurt.
I
That
mean,
hurt them.
more impressed with their scheme because I didn't think their back end would hold up the way it's had. It actually just held up. Um, to allow to be held to 10 points in your home stadium, um, in a playoff game when you have arguably the best quarterback in the league, MVP, all-time great player, and you have arguably the best receiver in the game, it's just is fucking inexcusable. I mean, let's call it what it is. Um, this is the worst loss to me of Aaron Rodgers' career. I don't want to, the special. Yeah, we could blame the special teams. Special teams were horrible. Cool. That's a coaching. That's a organizational failure, and they failed on that miserably with letting the guy from New Orleans go because they tried to lowball him 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever. I think it's after the 19th season. So that's a mistake, and the Green Bay podcasters and what have you was pointing that out, and I'm like, cool, good. That's true, but this is you have a quarterback who is supposed to erase those type of mistakes. Um, the rap on Green Bay in the past 3 or 4 years. Well, not even not even last year, but yeah, even a little bit last year, and especially when they got smoked by San Francisco in the 19 AFC Championship was that they were soft on defense. That was the rap. They were soft on defense. Or when Colin Kaepernick ran all over them back to back years, 12 and 13, soft on defense. Not Aaron's fault. We just not good enough on defense. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. You know what? You got it. I said I had no problem with that. They were overmatched in those matchups. They were overmatched in Atlanta when when an NFC Championship, the Atlanta team was clearly better. Like, cool, okay. But there's too many of these. Like, I was going back and looking at some of the losses in the playoffs that he's had. The 2011 divisional playoff against the Giants, the way they got I know that Giant team went on to win the Super Bowl, but that team was you had a 15-1 team and lost at home 37-20. You didn't play well in that game.
One of my best calls.
Then you called. No, you called it. No, I agree. I remember that you called that one.
That was one of my best calls ever. I saw that one. That one in the Seattle beatdown of Denver. I saw that one.
Oh yeah, we both called the Seattle Denver one. Yeah, that was one of my favorite calls.
That was I didn't want that to happen. I just could see it so clearly.
Because we both knew San Francisco and Seattle were the two best teams. The Seattle. Speaking of Seattle, the conference championship against Seattle, you're up 16-0, right? Your defense forces 5 turnovers. Russell Wilson was horrible in that game. Had 4 interceptions, and I know the hamstring wasn't 100%, but you lost. You lost, and I know the guy didn't recover an onside kick, which would have ended the game. But you got to win that game. Like that Packer team in 14, the 14 season, I thought was the best team in football. That was the year that they played New England and beat them in the regular season in Lambeau. I thought they were the best team in football that year. Last year doesn't look as bad considering what Tampa Bay did to Kansas City. You end up playing, Tampa Bay tougher than anybody. It turns out. But again, home game, at Lambeau Field. This game was just like this can't happen And if you're Green Bay, this absolutely can't happen. You can't have a situation where you score 10 points. And Rodgers in that game, and again, forget about the numbers. The numbers don't even tell the story. 20-29, 225, no touchdowns, no. It was we know it was a defensive game clearly. No touchdowns, no interceptions. The Aaron Jones long play should have been a touchdown. Should have been a touchdown. That ball was thrown. If that ball is put on point and is accurate, that's a touchdown. And 14-0, the game is over at that point. He missed throws. Devontae Adams, he missed throws too, where Devontae Adams is catching shoestring catches. If you notice, his receivers had to go low to catch a lot of his passes. So that's the slippage. That pinpoint accuracy is not as consistent as it once was. As it once was. And I think, I was thinking about a lot with Rodgers. Like, how could you be this great and have only one Super Bowl to show for it? Again, football is a team-dependent sport. It's a lot of things that go into getting to a Super Bowl, winning a championship, winning playoff games. But I kind of look at Aaron Rodgers like Alex Rodriguez. Like, he's like the A-Rod of his sport. A guy who has all this talent, who finds a way in the postseason to just not get the most out of what you think he should do, or what you think his talent, shows you that he can do. Like, Alex Rodriguez, to me, is clearly one of the greatest players of all time in baseball. Physically, statistics, all of that. They won, the Yankees, when they got Alex Rodriguez, they won one championship with A-Rod in his 10 years there. And it's not a coincidence that the one championship they won, he came up big in the postseason. It's not a coincidence. Not at all. So this run that they've had is kind of like Atlanta Braves, with the only one championship. I apologize to the Braves. I know you won it this year, but I'm talking about the 90s, early 2000s Braves with Mags and Smoltz, when you had all the pitchers and all Hall of Fame talent, but only came up with one championship. But it is really remarkable how this guy, and listen, we know that we know he's great. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Period. That's he is an all-time great. But there is a missing intangible that Jeter has, that Kobe has, Brady, Montana, that some of these winners, like, I can go to the old heads, Roger Staubach, guys like that. Not the greatest numbers, but Bart Starr back in the day for his own franchise. But when it came to winning time, they got it done. It's kind of like what Russell had that Chamberlain didn't have. You know what I'm saying? There's a missing. There's a missing intangible with Rodgers. I can't put my finger on it. I don't. It's like, we could say it's mental. Yes. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Because it's hard for me to even put my finger on it.
Okay.
But let me get this one last thing.
I got you. Yep.
So there's one last thing. When I hear other guys who lose games like that after in their post game, most guys would be like, "Yo, this is one of the hardest losses of my career. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back like eye the tiger. We're gonna get that Super Bowl. We're gonna get another Super Bowl." That's most guys. I'm not gonna sleep until we get another championship. I'm gonna be in the weight every day. Like you, that's what Kobe Bryant would say. Like, rest in peace, Kobe. I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I don't get that sense of urgency from Aaron Rodgers in the press conference. Last year it's the beautiful mystery shit. This year is kind of like losing doesn't kill him. Losing does not kill him. And that, to me, that's the difference. Go ahead.
So the intangible that you speak of, in my humble opinion, is a case of the thing that makes you great is also your biggest weakness. Aaron Rodgers has a very laissez-faire attitude towards a lot of different things, which means it's just who cares? It'll be all right. It'll work itself out, right? And in his football life, it mostly looks like dominating because he's so talented and so on top of his game, blah, 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 all the different, right? And so that looks like dominance. But every once in a while, you get to that level where in order to get, the only next goal is ultimate greatness. Like, that's the only next thing to do. And so in order to achieve that, you're going to be facing other greats going for that exact same thing. And you can't have that attitude when you're going against them. And that's the first weakness. As the game starts to crumble, I've seen it so many times with Aaron Rodgers. You pulled out a few famous examples. There's many other game management examples I could show where it's just like, because he believes he can always come back, nothing ever bothers him. But at the same part of time, we need it to bother you. The Green Bay fans need it to bother you. And this is one of those times where they needed that urgency. The second one, this is probably a little bit more the more insidious one, is that Rodgers doesn't make a mistake, which, of course, 98% of the time is fantastic. He only threw 4 interceptions this year. Fantastic, amazing, right? But what that could work against you is when you're down and there's a little bit more urgency that's needed for those throws and a little bit less of carefulness that's needed to make that throw that's going to make the biggest impact on the game. He's a little hesitant to do that because he doesn't want to make that mistake. And here's the key, and this is what you're talking about. This is a big key with Aaron Rodgers. It's not that he doesn't want to make that mistake because it'll hurt his team and hurt the chances to win. He doesn't want to make that mistake because it'll make him look bad. And that's the difference. Aaron Rodgers cares more about the success of Aaron Rodgers than he does about making sure that his team gets that ultimate success, which leads to the ultimate success he ultimately wants to attain. But because Aaron Rodgers cares only about Aaron Rodgers, he can't get to that next step. And there you have it. And that's why he only has one ring, in my estimation.
Yeah.
We're splitting atoms at this level, but it is what it is.
No, it is
like
what it
said,
is.
If you want to be considered one of the greatest of all times, there are certain sacrifices you have to make. And there are certain things you have to do. Tom Brady can't come back 28-3 against Atlanta throwing careful ass passes.
No.
He can't.
No.
So you gotta have that in you. You gotta have that, we're down. Damn that. Damn this team. Let's go. You gotta have that in you. Because it's going to happen. And you're right. One time you can excuse it. 2 times you can say that. When you were initially talking, before I saw that you were just building the ultimate case, I was just like, Cyril, you don't even have to go this deep. You can't lose this game. Period. End of story. Can't do it. You got the best record in football. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got defense playing fantastic. You got all the offensive weapons you need. You're going up against a team that is playing hot, but by no
on one side of the ball. Let's keep it. The offense scored 6 points.
By no means. We're not going to do that. We're not going to make San Francisco dominant. Nope.
No.
And they have their own albatross, which is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes. Who, by the way, tried to throw 3 or 4 pick sixes.
This is an indictment on his entire career. And you know how I know this? I know this because all of the biggest Green Bay defenders of Aaron Rodgers are jumping off this ship right now. It is abandoned the Aaron Rodgers ship on. Everybody's jumping off. Can't wait to crush him right now. And that's how you know how bad this loss was. So the case just got closed on Aaron Rodgers. It really did. He can win another Super Bowl. He can pick his team and win another Super Bowl. But in terms of any greatest, nope. You are firmly behind the Peyton Mannings of the world.
Yeah.
So we can't even, don't anybody ever mention Rodgers and Brady anywhere near. Don't stop.
That's not even.
You are firmly behind the Peytons and the Eli Mannings of the world. So, that's a great place to be, but that's where it stops. That's where it ends. So, can't lose this game. That's it.
Listen, for all his faults and interceptions, Brett Favre got the back-to-back Super Bowls.
Can't lose this game.
He got the back-to-back Super Bowls. You know,
when you start comparing resumes now.
Right.
When that first Super Bowl, we were so young, it was like, oh, maybe. But now when you start comparing resumes, especially if this is last year in Green Bay, for the Green Bay Packers fans, his resume will be closed at this point in time. And
Right.
so when you start looking at those two resumes, Brett Favre's beats his. It does. It does. We start like now, once that book is in, we thought it was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is easily going to be able to get another 1 or 2 more.
Right.
Oh, didn't happen. Now the book is written. You go toward the end of the career. I can take out final number by everything, pretty much wins, games, all the things that matter in quarterback stats, and look at it and go, nah, Brett Favre's better.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying he was a better quarterback. Again, we're splitting atoms at this level. But that resume is going to read Brett Favre was better. It really will.
Yeah.
Especially in Green Bay.
If
he could get another somewhere, and that's fine, and he'll get more yard and everything. But in Green Bay, that book pretty much seems to be written. Brett Favre number 1, Aaron Rodgers number 2.
Well, no, I mean, you gotta still Bart Starr. You gotta go. I mean, for real. Are we talking championship?
Very fair.
No.
Very fair. But that's for old school heads.
Yeah, it's for old school. Yeah,
Very fair, but
it's yeah, man. It's hard. It's frustrating from a standpoint of you see the talent and it's like, like, dude, you're supposed to have like at least 3 Super Bowls, like for real. And I'm like, and again, I don't want to hear this narrative anymore about Green Bay and lacking talent. That team, the last 2 years was a Super Bowl caliber team. Period.
None of those narratives
I'm sorry.
It's an inexcusable loss. There's no narrative. There's no other.
That team has plenty of talent.
Nah, there's no other narrative.
So it's like, no, I don't want to hear the excuse. And to your point about being safe with the throws, he only completed one other pass to another. He only completed one pass to a receiver outside of Devontae Adams, which was Allen Lazard. So if I'm a defense and I'm a great defense, of course, if that's the only guy you're going to throw to, I'm going to zero in on him, have him under control, and then dare you to throw to the other receivers. And he never did that. He never did. Like, I'm like, no, you're not. This is not how you're going to win this game. This is not how you're going to move this ball. You have other guys, get them the football, make them loosen up a little bit on Devontae Adams. Any good defense is going to try to take away or limit Devontae Adams. Now, most defenses are just not good enough, but you had a defense actually that was good enough from the standpoint if they have a front 7, a front 4 that can get to the quarterback without blitzing, so they can drop back in those zone coverages and what have you, and try to confuse him and or try to have him just being a step slow with his thought process to where it makes him hesitate. That's what I saw too. I saw him hesitate more in that game than I really had ever seen him hesitate to pull the trigger. Like, he wanted to throw, like he was caught in between in terms of making a lot of throws. Like, he wanted to pull the trigger, but would hold back, and he really did his offensive line no favors, because it looked like from the outskirts it looked like the offensive line played bad, but a couple of those sacks were on him in terms of holding the ball, because they ended up having 5 sacks. It wasn't just now. The San Francisco defensive line played great, but again, there were times where he could have threw the ball and didn't pull the trigger on it. So, to your point, like, worrying about not throwing an interception or playing it too safe, you play poker. You can't play poker like that.
No,
expect to win. It's just not going to happen.
No. All your money will be gone slowly over a period of time. I mean, look. There's analysis that can happen, but the simple fact of the matter on this one is that the Green Bay offense cannot take Aaron Rodgers not playing good.
No.
The team cannot. We just can't survive it.
No.
And everything you said is 100% accurate. Who knows why he played that way in a completely big winnable game? Who knows why? Again, that's why when you say the things that Aaron Rodgers does and you act the way that he did this entire season, when something like this happens, then you have to call all that other stuff up.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right?
for
Like
sure.
you have to,
Yeah, for sure.
it's a part of it. And so
Yes.
you have to go to those places where it's just like, competition is competition, and there's levels to it. When you're going against serious competitors on that other side of that ball, Aaron Donald's never won a championship, right? Matthew Stafford on that. Wait, what am I saying? I'm thinking Tampa. Wait, which game on? Did I mix up games? Yeah, I mixed up games. Because that was the Tampa Bay. Green Bay was going up against San Francisco. Sorry, when you have that fire on that opposite side of the ball, when you have the guy I clowned you a bit, Deebo Samuel, you know, who's never won. You have an entire team who's thirsty and who's hungry for that, and then you have a quarterback on the other side, and Aaron Rodgers, who's just kind of like, we win, we lose.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's the attitude.
Like
Yo, that's the attitude. That is the energy that he projects.
Like the edge for the 49ers, and that's the difference in a close game. And so then you gotta wonder, why would he have some type of attitude like that? Well, he hasn't been really feeling the team that entire year.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
When anybody who works a job and it gets hard at certain times, there's things you need to call on to push you through.
Yep.
When you don't have those things, you don't go as hard. You're like, I'll just let this slide today. And so when push comes to shove in those moments, and you're just like, I need that little extra bit to be like, we're going to win. We're going to put. It's just like, you know what? I don't got it today.
But here's the thing. Here's an analogy I'll use. Right, we've been around long enough in terms of our respective careers or so, or and just in life in general, to know there are certain people who are just fucking talented, that are just absolute beasts at what they do, in whatever walk of life it is, but don't inspire. Versus someone who may not be as talented, but they inspire, they light up a room when they walk into it.
It's a very, very fair point.
So, like, it's like, yeah, talent is great, but when you talk about lifting, when you talk about impact, it's a whole nother level in terms of just pure having like that, being able to impact, and especially at that position. That's the most important position in sports. I know it's fair to say that he doesn't. He's not. He doesn't. I can't see him. I'm not in that locker room, but I don't. I don't necessarily see guys doing it for Aaron or trying to run if I run through a wall for Aaron Rodgers. They respect his talent and they respect what he can. Of course, they respect what he do. You have to. But
Real.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say. I'm just like, this is one of the best points that I've heard on Aaron Rodgers this entire season. This is actually the best point I've heard on it. The way that you framed it, put it together, crystallized it in my mind. Because you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Keep going, but I'm just saying, like, it just like people, like I said, people. Let's go back to Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers has more talent than Brett Favre. He does. He does. Brett Favre
is great. Brett Favre is great.
That boy will throw 18 interceptions and they'll still be running
right,
through
and they would run through a wall. Exactly. They would run through a wall for Brett Favre on both sides of the ball. Reggie White came to Green Bay because of Brett Favre. Yeah. So who is coming to Green Bay because of Aaron Rodgers? Like, as I'm saying, that's the difference. Like that is right then and there the difference. Like, you talking about a quarterback. The quarterback has to be a leader of men. Like that's period. He's not. He is not a leader of men at that position. And I look and young as he is right now, Joe Burrow. They believe in Joe Burrow. You can tell how them dudes play. They believe in that, his swagger. They for 100%, 1,000% believe in Joe Burrow on that team. You know what I'm saying? So, the offensive line is just not good, and that may be due to like scheming and shit like that. But they trying to block for him. They just not talented. But that team, it's levels to this. And again, it's why you see certain quarterbacks just thrive. Again, you got when you hear the term winner in sports, and again, he has won Super Bowl. I get that. I'm not trying to treat him like he hasn't won a championship.
Nobody's attacking
No,
his
yes,
ability.
no, we know he's great. Let's
As a
not.
matter of fact, the reason why the criticism is so hard is because
How
the
talented he is.
expectation
Yes,
is so high for him.
yes, right, exactly. No, we wouldn't be
Of
talking
course,
about him.
he's talented enough
Yeah,
to do it. Of course, like you said, he's a Hall of Famer, and that's why I say we're splitting atoms. So stop.
Right.
There's no criticizing the ability that's going on. We're talking about this specific game,
right.
and his history in big games. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Keep going. Sorry,
I guess the difference between his playoff record is 11-10. You got some quarterbacks who have barely above 500 playoff records. Like Peyton Manning's was like 13-10. But I guess what the difference with Peyton Manning is, I never got that sense that Peyton Manning was not the leader of that team and was not like
no,
Peyton Manning just got beat. He ran to the
yes.
New England Patriot era. Let's be honest about that. That cost him about 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So
went up against the greatest coach and greatest quarterback of all time.
And still ended up going to 4 Super Bowls and winning 2 of them. He still went to 4 and won 2.
That's a resume. That's a hell
that
of a
is
resume.
that. And retired with every record before, Breeze and Brady passed him. But yeah, with Rodgers, I'm like, you've had a number of opportunities here. Like you had like these last 2 years in particular. I was a defender of Rodgers before like the 2020 season, before last season. I said, you know what, the team just defensively is not good enough. They're soft defensively. Running game is not up to par. So I'm not knocking him for. Maybe I was too soft on him from that in terms of that criticism, with that criticism. But in the last 2 years, Aaron Jones is a beast. Dylan is a beast as a second running back, running game, a second runner. And the defense this year was very good, and in that playoff game, they were spectacular. I'm like, your defense only gives up 6 points. You're supposed to win that game. I'm sorry. Like, there's no other ways to it. Like, defense didn't give up 30 points. So no, this is that's a horrible loss. And you're right. He can go to another team and be a mercenary. This loss will stick for him forever.
Yeah.
This loss is not going anywhere.
Nope. I think the reason why, like what you said, crystallized it so much to me is because honestly, I was fine and cool with Aaron Rodgers until this year, and I was having a hard time like putting it together exactly what was bothering me so much, and you just named it when you made that comparison, or when you made that analogy. Not analogy. When you just made that statement of he's not he doesn't inspire. And I thought about it when you said that. I was like, did Aaron Rodgers do anything to inspire this season? And now I'm like, no, he actually did the opposite of that. Like, even though people caked up for him verbally, you could tell nobody was feeling him.
No.
Pissing up, like being like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to take this vaccine. Yep. So damn y'all health, and whatever. And so it's the opposite, inspiring. And then when you started naming the other 2 quarterbacks, particularly when you said Brett Favre and Peyton Manning, the difference is, and you talk about leadership, the difference is, what crystallized in my head is, you never questioned that either of those 2 quarterbacks wanted to win. You never questioned that.
No.
Ever.
No.
Ever. Just ever.
In some cases, wanted to win too bad.
All the criticisms on both their careers are written, so all the criticisms we know are valid for both men, all the different things, absolutely. But one thing you never question was their will to win. Never. And their leadership. No. You never question those things, ever.
No.
You never did. Because they were both authentically themselves. Different people, but authentically themselves, right? Brett Favre will never be mistook for Peyton Manning in the film room, right?
No.
Never, ever, right?
No.
But on the field, he was a psycho, and he was always a psycho. No matter what the score was, no matter what thing, he was always himself and always out there. To his coach's frustration, but he was himself. And that players respect that, right? More than anything. Peyton Manning, opposite. You know, he's not going to be a psycho out there on the field, but he's a psycho in the film room.
Yep.
Psycho.
He's a
Psycho.
surgeon. He's a
psycho.
surgeon. Yep.
Just psycho. And so, but he was that way. Win, lose, anything. He was that way, right? Like exactly what you're saying about Kobe. What's Peyton Manning doing after that Super Bowl loss?
Watching film.
Watching film.
Yep.
Just that, like that's how they're built. Kobe, Peyton, those how those Peyton, that's just how they're built. With Rodgers, you do question that. You do question that sometimes.
Yeah.
His desire to win. You do question that.
And what and we left out one. We left out another one, and he's probably maybe the third greatest quarterback of all time. John Elway. Like
right.
Elway. Yeah. We saw Elway drag teams to championships who had no business. That's the thing. If you're that talented of a player, if you are that have that that God-given ability, it's another thing to you should be able to raise the level of the ones around you. That again, that's where of course that's where Rodgers fails at. Those guys were able to raise the level of the talented of the other ones around them, and it produced multiple championships, with the exception of Favre.
I was going to say, in the biggest moment. Keep going.
Yes.
Yep, but you said it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean Elway. That those teams were those. He wasn't. First of all, those first 3 Super Bowls he lost, he was not supposed to win at all. He wasn't even supposed to be in the game. Like those teams, those Denver teams.
I was doing the dark time for the AFC.
Yes.
Yes.
And he finally got.
We don't talk about that in the AFC too much. We don't like talking about those times. We don't bring those up. You're accurate in what you're saying. The skill level was very, very imbalanced. Let's say.
Yeah. To
a variety of different reasons, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of ownership, power moves, and all different things. But the talent level was imbalanced.
Not even
the result was talent level. The NFC
wasn't even close. No, it wasn't close. That's why you.
But to your point, he dragged those teams.
Yes.
Yep. And again, no one in the history ever has questioned John Elway's leadership.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Again, when I think about Aaron Rodgers, there are times I go, yep, I question whether he wanted to win that game. And that's me as not even like as a fan of football, but not a fan of the Packers, sitting on my couch. So I can only imagine how those players feel, watching it and listening and seeing day in and day out. And then to the big off football point, but I think goes in this conversation. I can only imagine as another player in that locker room. And again, these are all NFL players, college athletes, superstar college. So they've seen special treatment all their lives. Like all of them seen special treatment. Yep. But watch an organization just bend over every rule backwards has to be, and then if they say it has to be demoralizing to watch. You're telling me I'm accountable, but then this guy gets away with literally he spits in your food and throws this food he just spit in your face. And you're like, please give me another plate, Aaron Rodgers. Don't go anywhere. We love you. Like what? Like as a teammate, I would imagine that's not very inspiring.
No.
And whenever anybody needs that extra juice, I think the reason we keep bringing up leadership and inspiring is anybody in any profession, anything, can understand we're at a low moment looking at somebody to inspire you to be better than you can be in that moment. I think we can all relate to that, which is why we're bringing it up a lot. And we're saying in this moment, what we looked at in that playoff game was a very uninspired performance.
Yes. Yep.
And because of the way the quarterback, who the quarterback is who he is, we have to bring in all that outside noise to explain this uninspiring performance.
Listen,
So wouldn't it be nice if that particular quarterback didn't bring in all that outside noise?
right.
But
Listen.
he
You
did.
were very consistent all throughout the course of these
And
podcasts,
y'all took it.
saying that
You
you didn't trust Green
give
Bay.
me more.
You were consistent. Whether it was going to be, now you didn't pick this game, but whether it was going to be the NFC Championship or what have you, you were consistent saying no. I cannot be based on all the things that we just mentioned that I can't trust this team. So I give you credit from that standpoint.
Aaron Rodgers is you made me think of something else. Aaron Rodgers is constantly trying to have his cake and eat it too, because it's how do you split? Like it would be hard for me as a teammate to be like, how are you compartmentalizing? The organization sucks and you don't want to be here, but you care about us and want us to win. Make that make sense to me.
Right.
Maybe I'm simple.
Right.
But I wouldn't be able to understand that if I was his teammate.
No. I mean, I think we mentioned this a few podcasts ago. No, when we talked about it, when we were describing he's kind of similar to this guy too, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
We were like, he seems like someone who is exhausting to be around.
Yeah.
So to that point, that does suck the life out of you and explains early round exits back to back years. Like that, the polar opposite of inspired. He probably is sucking the life out of his teammates.
This year was much, much worse.
Yes. Oh yeah, no. This year was to a whole nother level. Yeah, no. This year was like, yeah.
Just
but it's probably, what, Rob? It's probably been like that.
See the
it's
bad
been
luck
like that for
in some of those earlier games, and I even I know the reason why I called it was because the Philbin. So I can even that loss isn't even as big to me, the 15-1, because I saw that coming so clearly. But these last two. Last year's was bad. The only thing that saves it is that Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. So at least you could say we lost to the eventual Super Bowl winner, but you were supposed to beat them. So I don't know how much solace that is. But this year, nah, you got nothing.
No.
You got nothing. You got no. There's nothing on this. There's nothing on this. You're the better team. You had them at home. You had the better players. You should beat them. You beat them. Not should. You beat them. Period.
Yes. No. There's no two ways about it.
Probably by 7. You beat him. You beat him.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be a question.
Real or not, Tom Brady retiring this year?
I put it at 60-40 right now.
That he will retire?
Yeah, that he will retire.
Go ahead.
You can never, ever take huge stock in a player's comments right after the game, right?
Right.
The thing that spoke to me, and I've heard other people bring this up, but it spoke to me live and I heard it, was when he was talking about what his wife wants and what his kids want, right? Like that. That's the difference, and that's real. And that's something you can never, ever measure. No. We can't empirically measure that from the outside. So I'm putting it at 60-40 because he mentioned them so prominently.
Well, he had the quote.
Particularly the part where he's like, my wife hurts every time I got hit. His wife has always hurt it every time he got hit. Why bring it up now, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like that. That just leaves me that extra 10%. That's why I give 10%. I think at the age he is, the accomplishments he's had, the money he's made, the prestige, all that, I think every year is 50-50 now, right? Every year is a 50-50 proposition, just at base. And then, so hearing those comments gave me the 60% that he is going to retire. But I never take too much stock in players' comments right after a loss.
No.
You just can't. The emotions are too high.
I mean, he had the quote, it's not about what I want, it's going to be what we want. So that was, that stood out.
Yeah.
And again, he's 44 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess you
Yeah.
get to a certain point of like, how many rings can you win? How
Nah, it's
much
not even
success?
guess.
It's
He's
like,
accomplished everything. Like he's
yeah, it's
literally
like
accomplished everything.
it's
He's
accomplished.
literally
You can't
accomplished.
you can't accomplish any more than what he's accomplished. So it's like,
Nah, you literally
my kids are getting older. You know, he got 3 or 4 kids. So yeah, I think I would lean towards him retiring. Um, that's kind of energy that I'm getting from stuff that he said in terms of trying to read the tea leaves, so to speak. But
yeah.
certainly, none of us would be surprised if he's back under
No,
center in 2020, in
and
September of
for
2022.
real, do not take comments after Tuss law. You just can't take those to the bank.
Right? No,
Not
no,
now.
no.
Give it a couple months, then what he's saying, it's like, okay, let's listen. Let's really listen. Let's take notes. Right now, take it with a grain of salt.
Yep, yep. Sean Payton done in New Orleans.
I haven't even processed this one fully
So Payton's done in New Orleans. He steps down. They had 3 years left on his contract. Um, says that he will not coach in 2022, even though there are about a zillion jobs that are open, but none
He
of
doesn't
them.
want your job.
No, he doesn't want any of those jobs. Payton wants a ready-made job that he can meet. He doesn't want no reclamation project. He doesn't even like a Jacksonville, as enticing as it is.
Nope.
That's
Say
still
the
that's
job he
still
wants, Will.
no.
Say it. Say
He,
it. Say it. Say the job he wants. Say it. I want to hear you say it. Yep. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Oh, Sandy, you know about the Chargers?
No, the job that Payton wants.
Oh, you talking about the Cowboys?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Hmm?
And, and I'm telling you right now, if I
that's
were the
where I'm
Cowboys,
at with it right now. Like I said, I haven't fully processed
coach.
it.
If they fire Mike McCarthy to hire, he would coach in 2022. That job, yes.
I don't think. I think he knows. All right, so we're here now.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
The initial my initial reaction, you texted me, as a matter of fact. I was like, oh wow. And then it was just kind of like the initial, like, oh, blah, blah, everything like that. Then I got home and watched his press conference. His press conference, I was like, this does not sound like a man who's done with coaching at all.
No, he's clearly not
at all.
No.
What he's saying essentially is, I'm going to take a year off to be on TV. Even though he didn't say it, when the question's asked, hey, what about network, everything like that? He's like, I would like to do that. Who knows? that come on now. Everybody's gonna be calling Sean Payton to be on the thing. Stop with that. I don't know. Maybe an offer. Who knows? Yeah, whatever. So taking a year off. I think it would be bad for him to fire Mike McCarthy. I think that's why when you were talking about homeboy last week, the defensive coordinator. Yes. I think that's why I think it's just going to be bad for him. They made the playoffs. You give him one more year. I think it's just going to be bad for him. Also, Jerry Jones has a lot of pride in his hires. He hired this guy personally, said all the things he said about him. Got to give it at least 2 years. I think now where I'm at with it, after listening to a whole bunch of other stuff and thinking about this and reading about this, where I'm at with it exactly this moment. That doesn't mean this is where I'll be with it next week or even honestly 20 minutes from now when I look at something else. But right now where I'm with it, I think the path forward is that that Payton's going, McCarthy gets this year. Honestly, outside of the Super Bowl, he's gone. Get out of here, McCarthy.
No, I'll tell you. No, there are 3 people. There are 3 coaches who should be extremely nervous right now. 3. I'll give them to you in this order. Okay, 2022.
What you're gonna say is probably gonna change my mind. Let me finish my point and then you talk.
Go ahead.
Because I do want to listen to it. Really carefully. I got stuck on this Dallas one. And so and then Dallas makes the Saints pay through the nose to get Payton. Because you're right, they do have 3 years. It would have to be some type of
conversation
in there. And so I think that's how that's the best possible way for New Orleans to get something out of this deal. Otherwise, I think Payton waits out the rest of his contract. And then the bottom line is he wants to select his team.
Yes.
The maximum. He wants to select it. He's not about this post Drew Brees life at all. He's not about that. He's not trying to do a Bill Belichick.
Oh no.
He's not about that life. No. I want to start over. I want to go to a team, like you were about to say, establish everything like that. I landed on Dallas. Go.
there are 3 jobs that in 2023, like there are 3 coaches that are going to be coaching for their jobs this coming year. One of them, and I'm going to tell you right now, one of them is still in the playoffs. I'll say Dallas.
Everybody see this got a little bit warmer.
I say
Everybody got a little
I
bit
say
warmer outside of Belichick.
Dallas is at the top of that list. To the you just mentioned McCarthy, like I said, Super Bowl bust. 1, 2, Brandon Staley from the Chargers. You can't. You got to get have it. Not only make the playoffs.
I don't like that.
You have to have a deep run in the playoffs.
Take that back. I don't want that. Payton and
Justin Herbert? Yes.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. No. Nobody in the AFC
will
want it.
Nope, I don't want that. I much more like Dallas.
And the third one, I would say, and I hate to say it, but I watched Rick Carlisle get fired for Larry Brown, so it does happen. Zach Taylor from Cincinnati.
Hey,
I'm telling you right now, Joe Burrow, Sean Payton.
Really hate that, Real. I hate that.
Yes.
That would be a devastating offense. I hate that idea. I hate that idea. Take all those ideas. I don't like that. No.
Yeah.
Oh, God. No, that can't happen. Oh, God. Yes. Oh, God. Oh, that made me sick. Think about that. No. That's not fair.
No, it's not. It's not.
No,
but
the weapons, nope, that can't happen. I'm like, no, I'll be like, Lee, I turn that. Oh no, overturn that. No, that marriage can't. Oh, so Real, you're gonna give me nightmares. Oh, I don't like that.
I predict.
I do not like.
I predict he will have one of those 3 jobs in 2023.
Ooh.
He will have one of those 3 jobs in 2023.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. McDermott, we have an all season. I'll be like, yo, light up in that man's DMs. Allen and Payton. Oh, I can see that. I can live with that.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
So, yeah, my coach's seats got a little bit warmer, but yeah.
Yes.
Those
this is
Herbert. Yeah.
This is somebody's going some team. Listen. The Saints are gonna come off with this. They're gonna get their compensation because he's not gonna wait 3 years. So the Saints will get.
He wants to coach and everybody's gonna want it.
Yes, they will get their compensation.
Yeah.
They will absolutely 1,000% get their compensation, first round picks, whatever. Yes, they will get some. So
do not worry about that.
Don't feel sorry for the Saints.
I did not think of those. Like I literally, that's not real. That hurt my soul. That I do not want those things to happen. I do not want that. Wow.
Yeah, there's some.
Well, you give me things to think about tonight.
There's some. It's going to be there's some big time ramifications from this. When I saw this, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
He's still relatively young. Like he's still.
No, there are no negatives here. There are no negatives. There are none. Yeah. I've said this numerous times, but it's facts. Him and Andy Reid are the greatest offensive minds of their generation. However you want to put whatever you want to do, they're the greatest offensive minds. Period. Bar none.
And you know what?
This year sucked for him and the Saints, and it's one of the best coaching jobs offensively I've ever seen.
Yes. Yep.
Any other normal coach?
That team
2 and 14.
Yeah, that team would have been horrible. Yeah.
There's shambles. Shambles. The offense would have been shambles. Shambles. Just shambles. Baltimore Ravens, early 2000s shambles. Bad off. Yeah. No. No. Him with another great quarterback. Bad news for everybody else.
Nope. No, I'll give you a wild card one, right? That could happen immediately. If Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay. Let's say Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver.
Aaron Rodgers goes, he teams up with Payton.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's a wild card.
I like that.
That's a wild. That could be.
I would lay money down on that one. I like that. I like that idea. I do. That would be fun. That actually would be fairly entertaining.
That would be. It would be entertaining.
I'll be entertained. That doesn't scare me. I like the idea of two war. That doesn't scare me as much as the Herbert and Burrow.
No, because the age
They
factor.
have
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
to
No.
learn,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he has so much to teach, and there'll be so much greater.
Right.
No, I know Aaron Rodgers at his apex. I know what I'm getting for Aaron Rodgers. I
Yep.
know the task. I know the head. I have no clue what these guys' limits are, and I
No.
don't find out soon. I don't.
No.
I don't. Not at all.
All right, biggest disappointments. I think we've kind of went through these. We went through Aaron Rodgers, the Bengal offensive line. I mean, yeah, you gotta, you have a $1 billion quarterback who you trying to get killed. Yeah, the offense they gotta fix that. Zach Taylor's got that's gonna be priority number one. So we went through that. We can now look ahead to this was the question for you. Can you win a Super Bowl with a run first philosophy in 2022?
No, because you always have to have the lead.
Yep, I agree.
It's that simple.
Yep.
If you can tell me a way where you always have the lead, then I can hear you, but that's not reality. And so, no, it's just hard no. Balance, yes. Run first, specifically, no.
So for like Tennessee, yep,
they are a for real quarterback away. It's just that simple.
Yep.
You saw what they maxed out. They maxed out the talent. They maxed out everything. They maxed it all out. That's as high as they can go.
So Championship Sunday, I think I found it ironic, and this always doesn't happen. Of course,
this is where it still hurts. This is where it still very much hurts.
Yeah, we know. The Patriots have had years where they were in a horrible division and still won the Super Bowls, made the championships. But you look at these four teams, all of them came from the best divisions.
Yeah.
All of them battle tested. I bring this up because, long time ago, Bill Parcells said, your record, you are what you are. For this year, I kind of disagree with that premise because I look at a 10-7 San Francisco and I'm like, they're better than a 12-5 Tennessee. So but they were in a brutal division, played a brutal schedule, and I think this year, I think these four teams really benefited from playing just in these rough, battle tested divisions. Just look who got knocked out in the playoffs. Green Bay goes down, bad division. Tampa Bay goes down, bad division. Dallas goes down, bad division. Tennessee goes down, bad division. So there was something to that this year for whatever reason. And so these four teams, all these four teams, played in great divisions. San Francisco Rams first. The Rams are a 3-point favorite, which basically is a pick 'em. I already can tell you right now, I'm riding the hot defense. I've seen what Shanahan has done to Matt LaFleur and also to McVay during his tenure there, and I don't think it's going to change. Now, I will say that this is the most talent from top to bottom that McVay has had, including the quarterback. I will say that, but I've seen I'm not going to get burnt by going against a hot defense. I've seen this movie before. I saw it, and I won't even include the Ravens 2000 because that was out. They were otherworldly. But I'll use some examples. I saw what Tennessee did in '99. Saw what Tampa Bay almost did in '99. And basically, it should have beat the Rams, the greatest show on turf. If people remember, that was 11-6 in that title game. When a defense in the playoffs gets hot, it's just something. I don't know. They have the ability to make anybody look bad, any quarterback look bad. And right now, again, like I said, that defense is playing lights out. You want to hit me with the Jimmy G? I like, oh, fuck, cool. Jimmy G can throw you out of a game without question, but so can Matthew Stafford. Um, I think this comes down. This will be a 4 quarter game. I think this will be a. I think I just think San Francisco's physicality will be a little too much for the Rams, and I think they will end up beating them for a third time in Los Angeles. What are your thoughts on that game?
I love the Rams. I want the Rams to win.
Of
I
course.
think
Yep.
so. Those are my thoughts. But right before we came on, I was listening to NFL podcast, and it's hard to argue with this point. Shanahan is 7-0 against McVay.
Yep.
It's hard to argue against that point. It really is. That's a good enough sample size. So purely my heart right now. Purely my heart. So I'm picking the Rams because I've said this, especially now that Buffalo's out. I want to see Aaron Donald win the championship.
Yep.
So I am firmly in the Rams corner. Like you said, this is not a blowout game by any means, or at least you can't see that coming. The teams are as evenly matched, very similar weaknesses, very similar strengths. Teams know each other well, coaching staffs know each other well, all that stuff. So with that, I feel more validated in just going with what I want to happen because there's no easy way to see how this game is going to go. I believe there's more talent, and that talent will win out on the Rams' edge. If you force me to pick me a point why I think they'll win, it's because of that.
No, I think the Rams have more talent. Top to bottom, they clearly do. But first of all, like I said, I like
shoving my face in it all year, all playoff long. So
I
get it.
I did not like how the Rams ended that game. That bothered me a lot. It really did. Because I think I probably would have picked them if they would. I mean, if they would have smoked Tampa Bay and cut half on. If they would have smoked Tampa Bay, I probably would have picked the Rams. I'd be like, okay, they've arrived now. They're serious about it. Let's But that man, is how they ended that game. It left a nasty taste in my mouth.
It was.
I love divisional championship games, because the teams know each other. The familiarity. I'd be shocked. This is going to be a defensive game. I don't see a lot of offense in this game. I don't. In my opinion, I don't see a lot of points.
You have two of the best offensive play callers of their generation right now.
Yes.
So that would be my only pushback on a lot of offense won't happen.
You do, but I think their defense, both their defenses are overwhelming right now. What'd you say?
Just because I agree with you, defenses are both unbelievably hot. Just because how talented these play callers are. I mean, both of these guys at times, particularly Shanahan, I would say, are dominant play callers. Meaning, you ask how Cooper Kupp has been open this season. I'd say because we're here now.
Scheming. No, it's scheming.
It's scheme. It's scheme matched with the right quarterback for him. It's there. You're absolutely. And we know Shanahan. Shanahan will script people wide open. The difference between when he was with Atlanta and when he left is night and day. It was night and day. And so that's I have faith that they will scheme up a little bit more points than we think. Just because they're that good at what they do. But your overarching point of these defenses being dominant and really impacting the game is not going to be proven wrong. Those defenses are on a hunt. They're on missions. Both of those defenses.
Yeah. So I can see something like 24-20, that type. I would say that. There will be a lot of mistakes in this game. We talked about the Buffalo Kansas City. That game was near perfection. Not this game. This game, the defense is so dominant. The teams know each other so well. There are going to be some mistakes. There are going to be some pick sixes. There are going to be some fumbles.
So prone.
These quarterbacks are mistake prone. There are going to be some head scratchers. From that standpoint, this is going to be a wild game from that standpoint.
Although I will say, Stafford has been very locked. I've been impressed.
He's locked in. He's
in.
playing. No, he's playing. No,
I will give him that. Jimmy
Yeah,
Garoppolo is just kind of OG golly.
I give Stafford
for the ride. Stafford's like, nah, I'm out here to win.
Stafford's playing better. Clearly, here's to me why it's a wash. I call it a wash because Stafford, yes, is playing better. He's clearly playing better. That's not even a question right now. But Jimmy G this will be Jimmy G's third conference championship or second? Yeah, his second. So I give that experience. I don't discount experience in a championship before the Super Bowl.
Nope.
Not at all.
No stranger to this at all.
So, and he's played in the Super Bowl. And he's played in the Super Bowl. So,
yep.
That's where I kind of.
That's what makes this game so intriguing and also challenging to at least for me to picture in my mind is because both of these teams are good and flawed at exactly the same time. So, there's a lot of ways this game can go. There's just a lot of ways this game can go.
I'll say one thing in terms of the injury concerns. Whitworth better play this game. Rams need Whitworth on the offensive line. I'm telling you that right now because no one has been able to block the San Francisco front four, or front seven for that matter. We saw the impact with no Tristan Wirfs with Tampa Bay, no Bakhtiari with Green Bay. Whitworth they need Whitworth. They had to drag him out there, shoot him up for if he has to play just first half. They need Whitworth on that offensive line because that defensive line is and the thing about San Francisco's defensive line, they are deep. Like they rotate. They rotate a good 8 to 9 players. They kind of like your defensive line with Buffalo, but they actually have more talent on the defensive line.
That was San Francisco.
Yes.
By far. It's not even close. We got that many deep to come after Kansas City because we don't have that just awe-inspiring talent that San Francisco has.
Right. I'm saying they got the talent and they're deep. They're both.
But we had to go deep just to compete.
No, I'm saying no, you're deep. No, I'm saying you had to
because of what San Francisco did to Kansas City. That's the reason that people are left. I can definitely speak for my team because of the way that Kansas City played against San Francisco and how San Francisco got after Pat Mahomes. That was at the time our best thinking of how we could attack him,
right?
By getting as deep as possible in there. So that was thanks. My only point is that was thanks to San Francisco modeling after them. They're the OGs of this. At least this conversation we're having.
As far as the second game, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Kansas City is a 7-point favorite, rightfully so. They are the better team, and I think will win this game. But I'll say this one thing: Tyrone Matthew, the Honey Badger, better play because Gabriel Davis is a nice player, speed receiver. They made him look like Jerry Rice, like. What they actually Cincinnati has more weapons than even your team has on the outside, like that.
That's why that Sean Payton comment was so bothersome. That's why that was rude.
The Cincinnati team is not afraid. They are coming in seemingly with house money. All the pressure's on Kansas City. I think Kansas City will win the game because there is an apprenticeship to this thing. We rarely see a team just come out of nowhere and make it to the Super Bowl. We'll see a team win a game, maybe even get to a conference championship, which is rare in itself. What Cincinnati is doing is extremely rare. You'll see a team win a wild card game and get eliminated in divisional. You rarely see a young team, just go directly and make it to a conference championship. So what they've jumped ahead of the line. They are not to be toyed with at all. And Kansas City though is locked in. Kansas City is certainly not going to take them for granted. They beat them. The fact that Cincinnati beat them in the regular season, I think it even helps in terms of locking in their focus that much more.
Did as well, yeah.
Kansas City will be ready.
That.
They remember that. Yeah, Kansas City will be. Both teams are going to be ready. This is conference championship, but I don't. I put it this way: I don't see the lights being too big for Cincinnati. I just think Kansas City will that experience as far as playing big games, and Mahomes being locked, like you to your point we were discussing earlier. Mahomes is locked in right now. He's on a mission. That team is on. They are on a mission to redeem themselves from
Yeah,
what
they are.
happened 31-9.
Yeah,
They're
they
on a
are.
mission. Period. So
Yeah, they are.
I just think that Cincinnati is just in their way. The young team will take their lumps, and rightfully so. This is how it happens. This is the history of football, and they will be no different. So I can see this like 37-27, some type that type of game, 41-30. There will be some points. There will be some points in this game. Like this game is going to be high scoring. This could be an up and down game, explosive game. But I don't discount Joe Burrow at all. I don't discount the talent that Cincinnati's has. They're not afraid. But again, when you talk about conference championship, one game away from being from the Super Bowl, it's a next level of pressure, a next level of media attention, stuff that they're dealing with right now. Kansas City, they're old hat to it. This is what they do 4 years in a row. Cincinnati, went behind the ears as far as dealing with expectations and all the attention that they're going to receive leading up to that game on Sunday. And the bottom line is, it's an Arrowhead. So um, I like Kansas City in this game. Again, I don't think they'll embarrass Cincinnati. I have a lot of respect for Burrow and what he's done and what that team has done. Uh, the offensive line does scare you for Cincinnati from that standpoint of if Tennessee's front seven can get that type of pressure, Chris Jones, Clark, and some of those guys, Bolton, the rookie, they got some guys that can get to the quarterback as well. So that's something to keep your eyes on. I'm sure Chris Jones is probably looking at his chops right now, watching film of that game.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And I expect Chris Jones to have a big game in this game. Watching what Tennessee did to that offensive line for Cincinnati, Spagnuolo too, as far as scheming. This will be a very entertaining game, and I think Pat Mahomes. Well, I think Pat Mahomes is going to put another young quarterback. Kind of push him aside a little bit. Like, hold up, not your
Sit in
turn.
the bed. Sit him back.
Slow down.
Back
Slow down.
out.
Yep. Slow down, youngster.
Back to the kids' table. The
Back to
adults are
kids.
still eating. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So-
You tried. You weren't ready yet. You
What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. Who are the head coaches, Ril?
Zach Taylor and Andy Reid.
Yeah, I thought so. So yeah, if you want to say there's a little bit of a difference in experience here,
Yeah, there's a lot.
that kind of crystallizes it. Cincinnati's coming. Kansas City's here.
Yeah,
Cincinnati's not
that's the
built.
difference. Yes.
Yeah, they're just not built for this yet. Nobody's denying any of their talent, their upside, and everything like that. Kansas City is the equal of them in all those ways, and in some ways, no, let's just say equal to them, in other ways better. We know which ones I'm talking about, particularly with the quarterback and the head coach. But in many ways, very similar teams, but Kansas City's season. And again, Patrick Mahomes being the head of the snake and what that had, watching him and watching his face, what that told me is they want this. Like, they're not playing games.
No, they're
like,
not.
This is not like all that. Like, we
They're
was
not.
cheering. Other thing I was anticipating is they had that loose style coming. Like, none of that.
No.
None of that. I was like,
No.
oh, damn. They're focused.
The one mistake they made. The one mistake.
So,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, yeah. Cincinnati not being ready for this, not being built for this at this moment in time, and Kansas City being so focused, I can't go anywhere other than Kansas City in this game. And I probably see it like something like 42-20.
Yep. I think it'll be a little closer, but
they get on their runs real, they're unstoppable.
They are.
Like,
No,
I was watching, I was just like, how do you stop this?
You don't.
How do you stop? I watched that play with Tyreek Hill. Sorry to get off. I'm just thinking like specifics. I watched that play with Tyreek Hill. We tried to get a bump on him. He just outran everybody across the field before he even caught the ball. Literally when he caught my eye, I was on my I said, he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was going. Yeah, he's going.
And he hadn't even caught the ball yet. I watched. I just like he's just outrunning everybody. No technique, no nothing.
No,
How do you stop that?
no.
It's like, oh no, let's put him back a punt run. And what, Burson? What is what? Why?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
is he here? Stop
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So,
It's yeah,
as good as I say that to say, as good as Jamar Chase is, again, more season, better over
yeah,
there. And so that's why it's just everything that Cincinnati does, KC does as well or a little bit better.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
they're focused.
yeah. No,
They're focused.
the focus, and I just can't. I mean, I never discount just like the in a big game experience. I just can't discount that. Again, I've watched enough football over the years to know. Again, there are steps of progression that teams take. You know,
And
I
they
watch.
fix their mistakes. That's the most disheartening thing about this whole thing is they did it. They
Yeah,
fixed it
they fix.
in the
No,
middle of the
they cut
season.
the turnovers and they fix the defense. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Did.
they did.
So
They
there's literally nothing that I have to hang my hat on that would say they would lose, even though I want them to. Nah, that's not even that accurate because I'll be annoyed seeing Cincinnati in the Super Bowl.
yeah, you
So,
would be.
but
You
I'm not
actually, yeah, you
rooting
would
for
be.
them. But there's literally nothing I can look at and be like, nah, Kansas City has a deficit here or anything like that. No, they're playing great football. They're a great team. They're going up against a young team that just doesn't have any of the experience to match up with them. Everything says this is a Kansas City, typical Kansas City win. However you want, however
Yeah, they're
35,
they're gonna score.
14,
They're gonna score a lot of
42,
points.
48,
Yeah, they're gonna score a lot of points.
whatever. There is just all. They're
Yeah,
gonna do it.
they're gonna score a lot of points. That
Yep,
the offense is in full circle. It's cooking right now
yep.
in a great rhythm. Defense don't even have to play great right now. To be honest with you, their defense just has to just some make a play here, make a play there. But it's right now it's about their offense. They have returned to what they were offensively a couple years ago. Even last year, they are the team that we've known that we've gotten to know over the past couple years. That's offensively they've returned to that over the last month. And they're there right
Here's what
now.
you get when you put the greatest offensive mind of his generation with his perfect quarterback. The glee in which they enjoy throwing the ball and scoring points is off the charts. And that's the difference when I'm thinking, even going back to that Buffalo Kansas City game, that's the difference as well. Even though we have fantastic offensive talent on our side, our coach doesn't lean that way. And it's a push and pull with him. We talk about it with aggression.
Right.
Andy Reid revels in offense. Can't wait. Can't wait to put out a billion points and in a billion different ways. Just can't wait to do it. And that's when they get into they're just impossible. They're just impossible. They present too many problems in too many different variations. They're too aggressive. They're too versatile. Yeah, that team is a problem. They are a lot to handle. They are. And Cincinnati, whoo, man, giving up that many sacks as well. That defensive line over on that other side, our offensive line was playing lights out at the end of the season. They really were.
Yeah.
Let's just say Cincinnati's line is not playing lights out.
No.
So they're gonna be able to affect Burrow's play. And again, you got that other dude on the other side of the field, right? Like that's the difference. Tannehill ain't over there anymore.
No.
Yeah.
So I guess we both agree that the best possible matchup, the best Super Bowl matchup would be Rams Chiefs, right?
Yes, I would love that one.
They had a game like 3 years ago that was one of the best regular season games in recent memory. That 51-48 game. It was an insane game that the Rams won. And again, if those two teams make it, you will see that game replayed a zillion times because it was that just wild Monday night regular season game with those two
Yep.
teams. But that's the best. That's the dream. That's a dream matchup. That is a dream matchup from an offensive versus defensive scheme, scheme wise and what have you. Um, but this NFL season has taught us that who we basically
Yeah.
know
It does not care about our dreams.
doesn't
That's
care about our dreams. No, doesn't
that's
care
what
about
it's
our
called.
dreams at all.
Damn your dreams. We don't
No,
care.
doesn't care about.
Heartbreak is what we got for you. And lots of it.
Does not care about your dreams, but it should be two very good games. At least one of them will be, I think, very good. I kind of lean toward.
I mean, that's how
I
we
kind of
all
agree.
know, right? That's
Like the
how we
Kansas City
all know.
Cincinnati could get away. I could see that game getting away. I could see that getting away. Soon.
But again, the unknown in this, and the unknown is Burrow.
Burrow, yes, yes.
He's not even scratched the surface of his NFL talent.
Nope.
So we just don't know what he can do in these big moments. So this is another, even though I don't think they're built for this,
I feel like he is.
I cannot overlook the possibility that Burrow's just a supply.
That dude, yes.
I can't overlook that. I can't overlook that. And so, again, that's what makes it fascinating, especially when these young with the new blood coming in. It's just like, how are they going to handle this moment? I don't know. Can't wait to watch it. So even in a game where I think it will be a blowout, I'm still interested because I have no idea how, let's say, Kansas City gets up by 3 touchdowns early, they start to relax and Burrow catches fire, right? Like you just like it. So I'm fascinated to see how it goes. Because I don't know. Because Cincinnati's such a new player to this thing.
Yeah. I mean, 3 of these teams have been in the Super Bowl in the last 3 years. With the Rams, San Francisco, and Kansas City, and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's the wild card here. Like you said, you want to call them the Cinderella per se, but they're the newbie.
Yeah,
the newbie. No one this season saw Cincinnati in the conference championship. Out of all the teams in the AFC, no one,
not at all,
not even remotely.
Nope.
Came close to seeing Kansas City. I mean, I can't say Cincinnati be in this position, but when you have a generational franchise type quarterback, just lets goes to show what.
And also, honestly, this is what will be the most. Here's what I say: what a fantastic gift for Kansas City to get home field in a championship game in a season you did not get you didn't get the number 1 seed through your record.
Right.
That is a gift. That's a gift. It'll be forever frustrating to me as a Bills fan. But man, what a gift. You can't blow that one either.
Yeah.
In a year, you get a home field game in a year you did not win the best. You did not have the best record in your conference.
Yeah. The Rams got the same gift.
Yeah. No, gotta take advantage of it. You have to.
Yeah, the Rams got the same gift.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Rams have every incentive to win.
They're the win now. They're in the win now mode. Yeah.
Who the hell knows what it's going to look like next year?
Right.
You got all the bet. Everybody's at season 8. It needs to happen this year.
Yeah.
Injury, everything, COVID. All the variables out there to make your season that you can't predict that. You have to win it this. You have to.
No, this
every
year,
from you. So if they get beat, that's
that's a rough one.
Push all your chips in. They called and took all your money.
Yeah, that's a rough one. No, this will be, that'll be a rough one. I guess
I win the Super Bowl.
That's a rough one, yeah. No, all the chips. I mean, listen, there's heavy pressure on both these favorites, Kansas City and the Rams. But the Rams is the different type of pressure because they don't have a Pat Mahomes who's 26.
Nope. So which is why they spent all the draft picks getting Stafford and
Von Miller.
Von Miller.
Yep.
You get a Von Miller for Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
That's exactly why you get a Von Miller. And then you get a Matthew Stafford to make the plays you need to make in a championship game. To make the big plays, Goff refused. You could not make with him.
No, just
That's the
couldn't
reason
make.
why
Nope.
you get him, get them. But you get it for that moment, for the Super Bowl. You have to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like we said, I mean, you busted. It's just you busted. This is an all in. It's just all in.
Yeah.
That's what all in means. You can't equivocate it. You can't be like, well, maybe next. No, there's no next year. There's none. There's none.
Yeah, no. Should be fun. Should be fun to watch. Of course, there's gonna be a number of not off season, but already it's not even off season. There are a number of stories that are coming down the pike, in regards to all these coaching positions that are up. Like I said, I'll be surprised. It seems like Byron Leftwich, he got a second interview for Jacksonville. Seems like he's kind of like maybe the front runner there. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I like that hire for him. I do.
Yeah, I like it too. That's fine.
Like
yeah.
I think he'd be a great mentor for Trevor Lawrence after the year. I think he would. Also getting a little bit of that seasoning with Tom Brady too. I think that honestly felt like it worked better for Leftwich because I saw the offense evolve with Tom Brady bringing the new concepts for them. And Bruce Arians is head coach. So I'm just saying he's had fantastic offensive minds to work with, even after he had already got the offensive coordinator job. So I really like what he could do with Trevor Lawrence. I really do. I like that. I like that matchup.
Yeah, I just want we didn't talk about
Payton was to be the head coach. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that as much for Trevor Lawrence, even though I think Payton is a far greater offensive mind because I think he has less patience for mistakes at this point in time in his life, in his career. I think Leftwich, being young, offensive mind as well, will relish the challenge of getting Lawrence up to elite status because he knows that will raise his stock to the nth degree as well. So that's why I just really like that match.
I want Leftwich to get that particular job because, and we didn't talk about this in the past month or so. Of course, we have one black coach in the league. Okay. Two of them got fired. Flores and of course Cawley from Houston. And we can make a case that neither one of them deserve to get fired. We can make a very strong case. But, you talk about coaches not getting chances or coaches having these losing records. And I'm like, you give a coach, a black coach, a quarterback that he can work with. Let's see what the record looks like then. We saw what Mike Tomlin did with Ben Roethlisberger. We saw what Tony Dungy did with Peyton Manning. It's not a coincidence, okay? So I want Leftwich to get this job. I think, to your point, I think they would be a perfect match. They can kind of like grow together. Leftwich has been in the league. He's been a first-round pick, so they're kind of relatable from that standpoint, even though he's not as talented as Trevor Lawrence, as Ballyhoo coming out, but still, I've been a first-round pick. I've been in your shoes before because I once led this franchise as a franchise quarterback per se, or as somebody who was walking through that door. So I really want Leftwich to get that job, and I think that I think that would be a great match in regards to that. So we'll be see what happens with that. But a lot of these black coaches, most of these black coaches don't get in. They end up getting quarterbacks who are will have you searching for a new job a year or two later. So we've seen what it looks like when they do get a quality quarterback, and how that's translated towards a lot of success when the opportunity has presented itself. But that is a whole nother podcast. That could be a whole nother podcast in regards to that. NFL, that's the NFL is the NFL. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Ril Dil podcast. Thanks to, of course, Rob Sapp. We will be back to get a little mini sneak peek of Super Bowl 56 and break down Championship Sunday. Oh, one last thing, So I had to get this in. So we were talking about Tony Romo and Jim Nantz getting San Francisco and Dallas.
Okay.
How do you think Troy Aikman felt about them this week with following up one of the greatest playoff games ever?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
yo, you
Yeah.
get San Francisco, Dallas in the AFC. You get the AFC's best game, and then you end up getting Buffalo and Kansas City.
Yeah.
How lucky can one team be as
Yeah.
broadcasters?
Yeah. They on fire.
Oh man, to follow it, yo, I was like, I couldn't help but to think about that because Troy was heated. Troy was hot. Troy is still upset about that. Troy is Troy is still heated. You hear some of the things he was saying about the Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was going in on the Cowboys and just going in general. But I'm sure he was thrilled watching Romo get another classic game with Buffalo, get a classic game with Buffalo and with Kansas City. All right, man. See you next time. Thanks for coming
All
on the
right. You
show.
as well.
All right, sir. That's going to wrap it up for this latest edition of the Real Deal podcast. Remember, Snowfall season 5 is coming. I saw the trailer. The trailer is insane. Man, it's an insane trailer. I cannot wait. We will be breaking down those episodes as soon as season 5 premieres, of course, February 23rd. So let's say it normally premieres. That's going to be on a Wednesday. So February 24th, February 25th, we will have our first show, the breakdown of season 5. Franklin Saint back at it with the family. So looking forward to that. You can be on, check that out when it coming up on the horizon. Also, again, we'll be back next week with Mr. Sapp to break down Championship Sunday and get a little sneak preview, even though it's 2 weeks, to Super Bowl Sunday. This is the Real Deal Podcast. Have a great evening. So long.